Hello and welcome back to another video back in Edale for the second time in a row on the channel. Today we are doing a brand new route, one that I've never done before, and I've got today's route from this book right here. It's called Mountain Walks Kinder Scout 15 Routes to Enjoy on and Around Kinder. And if there is ever a book that belongs on my coffee table, it's this one right here, because as many of you know, I absolutely love Kinder Scout, and the person who wrote and made this book and created all the routes is someone called Sarah Lister, and it's fair to say she is probably the queen of Kinder. Sarah is up here most days and I absolutely love her content on Instagram because she captures so many beautiful moments on Kinder. So she's made this book with 15 routes in it, and quite a few of the routes I've never done. So I thought today would be a really good opportunity to do a brand new route and to show you this book. This isn't a paid sort of advertisement or anything like that. I bought this book in the Penny Pot Cafe in Edale, and yeah, I thought a lot of you guys, because I know how many of you love Kinder Scout in the Peak District, would really appreciate this book also being on your coffee table. So today we are doing route number 13 in the book, and I'm going to park my bum on the grass and show you the route. Firstly, I'll show you the view. Yeah, it's not a great day in the peaks. It is supposed to get a lot brighter, but at the moment we're not going to be able to see a flying sausage up on the plateau. But like I said, it is supposed to clear up. There is some blue sky sort of dotted around the skies at the moment. So we are doing route number 13, Edale to Dragon Rapid Aircraft Wreck and Seal Stones. So we're going to hopefully find an aircraft wreckage today, which will be fun. The route is 12 kilometers long. So you've got the route here, which is really nice, a fully detailed OS map. And then you've got these numbered sort of waypoints which match up to the descriptions here. So it's really nice to follow. And you've got these lovely images as well. And what I really like is Sarah has put the bearings on which you need to walk along, and that's really important for a Kinder Scout guidebook, because as many of you know, it's a big plateau up at the top and it's very easy to get lost. There's not many landmarks to go off, so having the bearings on there is really good. So yeah, I'll show you the route today. So we have started in Edale and we're currently heading up Grindslow Knoll, and we'll head up onto the plateau, and then we head over to the top of Grindsbrook Clough, and then we're going to cut off into the centre of the plateau, an area which I've actually never explored before. I've only done a few bits in the middle of a plateau. For example, when I tried to find the summit of Kinder Scout, which I've done a video on before, and that's where we'll find the plane wreckage, and then we're going to head over to Seal Stones onto the northern edge, and then we cut back through the plateau over to Ringing Roger and back down into Edale. It's going to be a really exciting route, this, because I've never done it before and I love exploring new areas on Kinder. One last thing about the book and the route: at the front of the book there is a QR code which you can scan, and it then downloads all of the routes directly onto your device. So I've uploaded my route to the OS Maps app, and I've got the route all on here. I've also obviously got a map and compass today, because navigating up on the plateau is extremely difficult, especially when the conditions are like this. And having those bearings in the book is going to help me out a lot today if I get a little bit lost or I'm a bit unsure or my GPS stops working. And yeah, we're going to crack on. Hopefully this weather clears up, because I'd love to show you the views, especially when we get over to the northern edge, because a lot of you have seen the view of this valley before if you've watched any of my videos. But anyway, I'm going to catch up with you probably at the top of Grindsbrook Clough, which is where we'll cut into the plateau. It's quite an important part of the route, so I'll catch up with you there. we're now just about to hit the top of Grimes Brook, which is the brook that runs down Grimes Brook Clough, and we will be taking a left off the southern edge path, following the river into the centre of the plateau, which is really exciting. However, yeah, we can't see a flying sausage up here today. I managed to get out of the worst of the wind, but when I was over at Grindslow Knoll, I was getting absolutely hammered. The visibility is probably the worst I've seen it up here in ages. Can't see further than 15-20 metres. That's Grimes Brook, down to my right there. And we're going to head straight on into the plateau. There's a big group of people at the top of Grimes Brook then, so just walked past it. And then we're walking along this little brook that heads into the centre of the plateau. And I'll quickly show you on here. So we started in Edale this morning and we've come up all the way up to Grindslow Knoll, up here, and then we hit the top of Grimes Brook Clough, walked along the southern edge a little bit, and now we're going to follow this red line which takes us all the way to the plain wreckage. And I'll get the book out now and show you on there as well. So this is the book as well, so we're at number 4 now, and number 4 reads, follow the river or the riverbed if there's no water flowing. So in the summer these riverbeds are very regularly completely dried out when we have a real dry spell, but there is a bit of water in it at the moment. Follow the river up into the moorland, and in a northerly and then northwesterly direction there is a rough path to the left of the river initially, which is what we're on right now. Find your way along the river until you reach the remains of 4 Jack's cabin. It was named that because it was repaired by 4 men named Jack in the 1930s. Very appropriately named. And then we continued to follow the river for about 300 metres, reaching a tributary to the right. From here, walk on a bearing of 29 degrees for about 100 metres. I really like that there's a bearing in there. Following some large scattered rocks, before walking up to the rocky high point of the landscape known as Wove Hill. Look out for the aircraft remains of Dragon Rapide. So I'm hoping we can find them. I can't promise anything because it sounds like there's not much left of it. There's quite a few smaller wreckages on Kinder Scout, and I'll quickly tell you some information about it. The plane crashed in 1963 following a photographic survey, and both crew members survived. Happy days. It's so nice having that description in the book as well. It really does help you, especially when the weather is like this today, because you just can't see a thing. It did brighten up for about 2 seconds then, and then the darkness of the clag smothered us again. One of the things that I love about this sort of claggy weather is that it makes you notice your closer surroundings. So usually when I'm going up Grimes Brook Knoll or Grimes Brook Clough or Ringing Roger, all I'm doing is looking out into the distance, looking at the stunning views, instead of actually looking what's right in front of me, what's next to me. And when I was going up Grindslow Knoll, I was noticing things that I've never noticed before, and I've been up there so many times. Just noticing the vegetation more, and we've still got some of the heather left. There is just so many different plants up here, and yeah, just noticing all the different rock formations that I've never really looked at before. So that's a positive of there being clag, is that you start to notice things that you wouldn't usually notice. And I'm already noticing that it would be extremely easy to get lost doing this route if you don't have the right forms of navigation, because you've got these sort of tributaries and little cloughs darting off in every direction off this main river. So if you do this route, make sure you're quite confident with your navigation with a map and compass, not just a GPS on a phone. Although I do use a GPS on a phone for most of my hikes because it is extremely accurate and it's very safe, I can't solely rely on that, because if anything happened to it, it broke, I dropped it or ran out of battery, I'd be absolutely stuffed. And so we're 3.6k into the route, and like I said earlier, it's a 12-kilometre route, so we're just over a quarter of the way round. Oh. Right, that was a failed attempt at jumping over the river. So I think we found our little shooting cabin thing. The site of 4 Jack's cabin, 1870. Wow, that is old. And the 4 Jacks repaired it in the 30s, and there's a nice little wooden plaque here. This is the site of 4 Jack's cabin, built in 1870, rebuilt in 1930 by 4 men named Jack. And if I had a Bruno biscuit, Park my bum on here, really nice heather seating. Put my brew there, swig, shelter from the bad weather. Really nice. Sleep. I won't be able to fit in here to sleep in it though. 6'3", I'm not fitting in that. I'd say about 5'5" and under. You could kip in that probably. Oh, that's really cool. So now we're going to carry on heading over to the plateau, hopefully towards the airplane wreckage now. I'm really going to have to keep my eyes peeled because the clag is really bad. And it looks like, according to the map, we're going to reach a bit of a boulder field, which will be really nice. And that's at one of the highest points of the route at 623 meters. I believe 13 meters off the highest point of Kinder. And we're actually quite far away from the summit. Summit's all the way over there somewhere. It goes to show how big and vast the Kinder Plateau is and how it's just flat on the top, pretty much. I do just love it up here. Look at that, oh my God. Blue sky, baby! Look at that, I manifested that. Just saying how beautiful it was up here. Boom! Blue sky. That's gonna go away so quickly, I know, but whoa, that was a bit weird, that was. I was just about to say how stunning I think it is, even though you can't see anything pretty much. There's just something so peaceful, and on the Kinder Plateau there's a calmness up here where I struggle to find it anywhere else in the Peak District, let alone anywhere else in the UK, to be honest. There's just something so special about this place and the way it makes you feel, and the outdoors does that in general, I think. Anyway, getting a bit deep there, a bit deep on Kinder. That's how we like it though. And I'm getting so deep on Kinder, I just missed the turn off by 20 meters. We're back on track. This little tributary that I'm in now comes off that main sort of river, and we are now approaching the aircraft wreckage site, hopefully. Look at these. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about. Little mushrooms growing. I would never notice stuff like that. Tiny little mushrooms, and there's loads of them, just little ones sprouting up. No idea what they're called or what they are. If you do know anything about the vegetation on Kinder, feel free to put some information in the comments below. So, Sarah has given a grid reference for the aeroplane crash site. So if we don't find it in the next 15 minutes or so, we'll get the map out on that and we'll have a bit more of a detailed look at it. One thing to remember with these aircraft sites is don't take any of the stuff. They're there now as memorial sites a lot of the time. I know these two fellas survived the crash, but a lot of people didn't, so yeah, it's nice that there are some memorial sites for them. Right, I just got the paper map out. I think we need to go a little bit further south to find this crash site. Let's have a look. The thing is, it could be one little piece of metal. It's not like the one up on Bleak Low where there's heaps of remains of the plane. Oh no! It should be right here. It should be right here. He's only gone and found it, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Yes. All right. There we go. And that is what's left of it. That looks like something from maybe the engine block. You know what? I know nothing about planes, so I might be completely wrong. And look at that, some wood. Whether that's from the plane or not, I don't know, but it's amazing they survived because everything looks a bit crumpled. So yeah, that is the Dragon Rapide crash site. Yes, I'm so gassed we found that. I'm starting to stress out because I've been talking about it all day, thinking, oh, we're not going to find it. So what I did is I got the paper map out, which is the Dark Peak OL1, and I found the grid reference that Sarah had given us in the book. I put the grid reference in on there and I kind of matched up where I was stood on the GPS. So I cheated a little bit, but you know, that's what GPS is there for. And then I realised that I was a little bit too far north. And yeah, just walked about 30 to 40 metres back down south. We found it, yes, I'm so happy about that. I'll quickly read you the next section before I head off. So, walk on a bearing of 69 degrees for about 800 metres across the moorland between Pete's Hags towards the northern edge of the Kinder Plateau. If you walk quietly, you might spot a mountain hare sunbathing in a gruff. Definitely not going to be sunbathing today. And there are plenty of mosses and lichen to notice on the route too. On reaching a cluster of boulders, the northern edge comes into view in good weather. So that's the next stage. Got my compass. I might actually try to take a bearing here and walk on that bearing to the northern edge. But yeah, I'll stop talking for a little while now because I've just talked for ages. But yeah, so gassed I found the wreckage. So I've made it over to the northern edge of Kinder. That right there is one of my favourite views in the Peak District. Well, unfortunately I can't show you that today. The wind has definitely come back. It's blowing an absolute hoolie. That feels like it's about to get sent over to Edale. To my right, this sort of area here is called Seal Stones because there's lots of rocky outcrops, boulders. And as Sarah was saying in the book, great spot for lunch. I've had many stops on the northern edge where, you know, you just have a brew and just take in that beautiful view. So we're over 7 kilometres into the route now as well, so we've passed the halfway mark, which makes sense because we are now making our way back towards Edale. And we'll have a bit of a read of the book because I'm really liking the descriptions on here. So, walk on a bearing of 40 degrees for about 100 metres to pick up a path along the northern edge of the plateau, which is what we're on now, and we've already done that bit. And then it says turn right onto the path to follow it east for about 600 metres, which is exactly what we're doing now. The path is inconsistent in sections, especially around the large boulders. Continue along the edge path as it bends around to the south for about 400 metres towards Blackden Brook, go through the gate and walk to the second ford of Blackden Brook. Turn right here into the heather-clad moorland to walk south on a bearing of 160 degrees for about 600 metres. This is known as the 7-minute crossing. You can get from the southern edge to the northern edge very quickly if you take the right trod. This is known as the 7-minute crossing between the northern and southern edges of Kinder Scout. Though it takes a little longer from north to south, it is pathless but well trodden, so you may well see boot prints in the peat. My legs are feeling a little bit tight and my hamstrings are still pretty sore, but I reckon we try to do that crossing in 7 minutes and time ourselves. So that's the top of Blackden Brook there. So those rocks behind me, that marks the top of Blackden Brook. Really cool way up to Kinder, where you have to park down at the Snake Pass to do that though. This is the second part of Blackden Brook. This is the bit I read in the book where you turn off now, so we leave the northern edge and we head up here to do the 7-minute crossing. So I'm not going to start the watch yet. I'm going to get a little bit up, get a little bit of a head start. Right, I'm going to say this marks the start of the 7-minute crossing because there's a bit of a clough here, and yeah, So what I'll do is I'll do a time lapse again. Time on my watch, just so you all know I'm not cheating. So we're going to go off this timer at the top, so it says 2 hours 21. When that hits 2 hours 22, we're going to make a move. So let me just have a look at the GPS one last time, so I'm not going to be able to look at it too much. It's about 800 meters and it's going to hit the time. Right, let's have a look. 22, boom, we're off. So I'm going to do a time lapse. I'm going to jog a little bit of it maybe, but my hamstrings are killing today. So yeah, I'll do a time lapse and I'll catch up with you at the other end and we'll see how fast we can do it. Last few meters, we're closing in. I think I've pulled my hamstring again. It's absolutely killing. Worth it though. I've got 1 minute and 40 seconds to make it. And boom. 27:30. Get in, 5.5 minutes. So I did jog a little bit of that. So I'd say 7 minutes is pretty accurate if you're walking at a decent pace. Oh, that was good fun. That I didn't think I was going to make it. I got bogged on hard. Did a few risky jumps over it and yeah, they didn't pay off, some of them. Feet are absolutely soaked. Right, so we are on the southern edge now. On the map you'll see it'll say Never Tor. And we're heading over towards Ringing Roger now. Back in familiar territory. I've been on this part of Kinder many a time. And I already know as soon as I get down into Edale it's going to clear. Because I've come up in the morning first thing and the weather forecast is supposed to clear a bit in the afternoon. So I just know as soon as I get down to Edale I'm going to look up and be able to see the top of Kinder. It is definitely getting brighter. Imagine if it just cleared now and we could see the whole of the Edale Valley all the way up to the Great Ridge. It's probably not going to happen. I'll tell you what, it's happening again. Look at the sunshine now. Every time I say it, it's like, oh. The Kinder gods are looking down on me today a little bit, aren't they? This sunshine is really trying to come out now. Starting to get a bit of a view. We have dropped down a little bit. We're going to risk it for a chalky biscuit and actually go right up to Ringing Roger and not take this path down here. And hopefully, if we manifest it, that we're actually going to go up there for the view. Maybe it'll open up and we'll get that beautiful view down into the Edale Valley. Yes, look at that view now. Look at that, looks awesome with the cloud. So that's looking right down into Grimesbrook Clough down there. And that goes all the way back down into Edale. Yes, look at that, that is epic. Look at the clouds moving there. Shows how windy it is up on the tops. called it, didn't I? As soon as I start coming off Kinder or get down into the valley, the cloud will lift and we'll get views again. At least we got some views there at the end. I actually really enjoyed a day out in the Clag. I've loved every second of this route. And that view at the end, stood on Ringing Roger, stood there for about 10 minutes. It's just so beautiful. I'll never ever get tired of this place. So now we just do the final descent down into Edale. It's a bit of a zigzaggy path from here, and we'll make our way back down to the Nag's Head. But if you are in Edale, Penny Pot Cafe is the one to go to. It's awesome, and it's where I bought this, and it's where I actually bought the book from. So yeah, if you wanted to buy a copy, they usually have some copies in there for you to buy. You can see now where we go. So we follow this path down here, zigzag down here, all the way down to there, and then we follow our way back into Edale. And I'm probably gonna end the video here with the chatting. I'll show you the remaining views, but it's gonna be really busy down there. I can already see tons of people. I don't want to be talking to a camera in front of a load of people. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's been a very different one. So much more talking than usual, but I think that was appropriate for today because it's quite a technical route. A massive thank you to Sarah for that route, because I absolutely loved that. That is the most fun I've had in Kinder in ages. Just doing something different, trying to find something like that airplane wreckage, and yeah, even though we didn't get the conditions that I really wanted to show you the views, I had so much fun. And yeah, definitely a route to do if you're confident with your navigation. It's a really challenging route. I'll leave the route in the description. I'll leave a link to Sarah's book. If you love Kinder, I'm telling you right now, it's a great book because it's got routes in there that are great if you're just getting into your hiking and you want to experience Kinder, all the way up to sort of 20-kilometre more challenging routes. It gives difficulty ratings in the book, so yeah, it's just got so much information. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking because I've done a lot of it today. What a day. I've absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. And one last massive thank you to Sarah for making that book, because I can tell there's been a hell of a lot of hard work put into it, and it is a really good book. It's nice and small, brilliant to put in your pack when you go out. Yeah, thank you so much, and well done, because it's an awesome book. But anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the love on the channel, all the new subscribers, all the comments, all the likes. It really does mean the world. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.